Hello everyone, Dev Victoria is here, and in this video I'm going to show you how did I implemented this total score modifier display system thing here. So if the total score modifier is 2, then all of these 4 things are going to light up. If it's around 1.5, then just 3. For 1 is just these 2. And for 0.5, this is just this one. So basically, I've created this basic emission color texture, which is like a light yellow color, emulating this little light bulb that could be inside the pinball machine. I've created 4 masks. One is for the half, one is for 1.5, one is for 1, one is for 2. And also I made the table look like this, meaning has some light brown color where the score indicator is. So these are the textures we are going to work on, and I would like to, so we already had this mask emission shader graph for the bumper, but I want to extend it so that it could display these 4 emission mask. So let's see how I did it. First and foremost, what I would like to point out that this bumper emission and this score emission is hybrid per instance is the shader declaration, and it is going to cause problem if the shader graph editor is open. It doesn't cause problem when the game is running, but the shader graph editor is freaking out. So temporarily I'm going to mark these as per material, or maybe I just turned off the property declaration. Okay, now it refreshed itself. So I added 2 parameters, 4 parameters, which is all texture 2D parameters for the masks. And basically what I wanted to do that if calculate a mask multiplier value here. So if what I wanted to give here is the score emission, which is for now it is going to be the score itself. So if it is 2, maybe the name is a bit confusing, but if it's 2, then the 2 emission is going to light up. If it's 1.5, then the 1.5 emission light up. If it's 1, then the 1 emission light up. If it's half, then the half emission lights up. And I looked up the documentation about how does one create a custom function in the shader graph, because if I got the score and the value to compare with, I could calculate the mask multiplier value, or the score mask value if you like. So, and I did this very simple, this custom function. So the score and the value both float, and the output is float too. And the type is string because I just typed here the custom function. So if the score minus the value is less than 0.25, then the mask value is 1, otherwise it is going to be 0. So this is very, very simple. And basically I can include this subgraph here multiple occasions. And we can check this. Now the score emission value is 1. So now this light up. If I change this to 2, then the upper one is going to light up. If I change this to 1.56, then the 1.5, and if I change it to 0.5, then the bottom one is going to light up. So this is working fine. And then I'm going to multiply this by the score emission mask, basically. For this one, I gave it a default value. The others doesn't show because I didn't give them a default value. But just for the sake of showing this, at least so that I can have one default value here. And then obviously we are going to add this to the bumper map. And also we had to add this together. So there is a cascade of add here. And then finally we are going to multiply this by this sample texture for the emission color, if you like, and we are outputting this to the emission value. Okay, now I'm going to close this tab and I'm not going to save this because the shader graph as it was before was fine. So let's see how did I set up things in the editor. So we got this display here, and in order to change this emission, first and foremost we need a material override for this, and actually this FT emissive SG material already had an override. I just added the score emission to here. So this is what is displaying here. And I also created this score modifier display data outdooring, which contains the scoring element, because the scoring element is going to contain the total score modifier. And basically this is the value that we should add to this score emission. So let's see how this is working in code. So the score modifier display data outdooring is a very straightforward conversion. We just have to convert a game object to entity using the conversion system's get primary entity method. No big deal. The score modifier display system is yet again just a couple of lines long. So basically we are going to get the total score modifier data component for the total score modifier container entity. And from that we are going to get the total score modifier, and the score emission float override component's value will be this value. The score emission flow override was generated by Unity when I added the override material property in the editor here. So this is yet again a very simple and straightforward system. Now let's test the game, how this is all working. And let's hope everything's still fine. So let's switch to test mode. Now I'm going to activate this and this. Now the score modifier is 2. Now I'm going to turn off. Now the score modifier is 1. I'm going to activate the dash side. Now the score modifier is half. The indicator working just fine. I don't know why this exception appeared. This hasn't happened before. But that was all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it and see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.